conference speaker, corporate trainer, strategy consultant, author, and an academic. He was the director and chairman of the Board of Management of Postgraduate Institute of Management, University of Sri Jayewardenepura. Being a Commonwealth Amdisa Doctoral Fellow, Fulbright Postdoctoral Fellow, and a Commonwealth Postdoctoral Fellow, he is also an independent director of several boards. Please welcome Mr. Ajantha Darmasiri. Dr. Ajantha will be speaking about leadership lessons for a post-pandemic world.
Thank you for the introduction. Thank you, MAHRP, for inviting me. Good afternoon. For that particular good afternoon response you gave me, if you have to evaluate by giving marks out of 10, how much of marks you would give? Your return response. Sorry, 10 out of 10. Is it that great? No more improvements possible? She says 10. How many of you are disagreeing? Oh, thank you. So then what should be the realistic score? 2. She says 2. Anyone disagrees? 5. Anyone else? 3. So 3 plus 2, 5. 5 plus 5, 10. 10 divided by 3, 3.33. So we still have 60% opportunity for improvement, isn't it? I think the walls are fairly strong. The ceiling, there's no threat of collapsing on us. We are absolutely safe in this beautiful entity, isn't it? So shall we put all our energies together in giving the best good afternoon that we have ever given to anyone in our lives? Are we ready? Yes. Are we really ready? Yes. Good afternoon. Fantastic. Give a big round of applause to everyone. Okay. So the topic assigned to me is leadership lessons for a post-pandemic world. So I'm the common eye of PIM. Price College is my summer teaching place. And CMI, I'm the vice president. CIPM, the partner institute of MAHRP in Sri Lanka. I was a former past president, so I'm the common eye. And I consider myself as an engineer who has transitioned from engineer of electrical to engineer of hearts and minds. I give shock waves to people occasionally. I might even do that today itself. Okay. So it's all about leadership. And we have spoken a lot about leadership during yesterday and today. So I didn't want to repeat anything that we had been talking. And I must share with you a good news. Out of the 10 books that I have published, I've got 3. And unfortunately, I have only 1 copy. So at the end, those who ask the first 3 questions will get a copy each. Okay. Right. So let me move on. So I really like what Alexander Solzhenitsyn said in a different context. He was a Russian dissident, and he was fired, sacked. But he said something very profound. And this is what he said. We know they are lying, and they know they are lying. They know we know they are lying. We know they know we know they are lying. But they are still lying. And by the way, I'm coming from Sri Lanka. So we are the little sister below the big brother India. We have beautiful Indian friends. And I see bunch of tiny little, even more beautiful sisters in your beautiful Maldivian country. I really enjoy your hospitality. Hats off your 50 years of celebrations of independence. Fantastic. So in fact, it reminds me of my last visit. This is my 4th visit to Maldives. My last visit was to do a consultancy work for Maldivian air taxi, the largest air taxi operation in the world, isn't it? So in fact, they gave me an experience to ride from one resort to another resort. And there was a very polished person, well polite English, came and accompanied me. And when he ended up, I was so impressed, and I asked him, he said, I'm Anuradhapura, Sri Lanka. So I'm so happy that we have trained Sri Lankans far better than what we do in our country. So we have tapped the talent and in fact, really shine their talent and using it for a global purpose. Fantastic. So my task within the next 20 minutes or so is to raise 3 fundamental questions and then attempt to answer them collectively. And I have a good news or a bad news. I will not ask you to turn to your partner because you have now got fed up with your partner, isn't it, for the whole day. And then I will ask you to turn to someone else. But don't relate to the team at home. That will be dangerous. Because you can play different tunes with the same guitar. Don't worry about it. Okay, right. So, question number one is, or rather, why right leadership is essential from moving from resilience to results? I was so impressed by the way your your resources have bounced back and how they are back in vibrant action. So, it's a case of moving from resilience to results. How to do that? Why leadership is essential in that endeavor? Second question is, what are the key lessons learned during pandemic times? So when we are moving to the post-pandemic era, we need to take that lessons, the bunch of lessons we learned forward, isn't it? Am I correct? So we need to know what those lessons are. Third question is, what should we do differently in enhancing the way we lead? I would assure, if you can take at least one key takeaway within the next 20 minutes so that you can have a brilliant takeaway and so that you can go and implement and see the results. As the previous speakers very correctly mentioned, it's all about future today. We are in the journey of creating the future by doing things differently. If you do the same things over and over again, you get the same old damn result, isn't it? If you do things differently, you get different results. So that's where we are here to learn something distinctly different. All right? So let me present you the reality and the response. We would have heard this hacked jargon a lot of times. So I would call it VUCA 1.0. So what is VUCA 1.0? It's all about volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity. We don't have to tell you. It was there in our doorsteps, isn't it? And we never expected such a lingering, long lockdown. So we have all experienced the agony of it. And now we are slowly moving out as a whole planet. But my suggestion is, if that is the reality, we have a challenge, ladies and gentlemen. We need to have VUCA 2.0 response. So what is VUCA 2.0 response? I would call it vision, understanding, confidence, and agility. Have the right vision for the future. Be visionary. And have the right understanding, knowing what's going around. Know the depth and the breadth. And then confidence, standing on your feet with confidence. I think previous speakers elaborated on that a lot. And agility, being dynamic, agile. So let me start with vision. It can be boiled down to the word dreaming. I hope you all are not doing that now. Is dreaming good or bad? It depends on the type of the dream. Sometimes when I go to offices after lunch, I see people dreaming. And when they see me coming, they say, hey, so-and-so is coming, but they still keep on dreaming. And some even make strange noises coming from timber mills. So those are not the dreams that I'm referring to. I'm referring to dreams for the future. As Dr. Abdul Kalam, late President of India, very correctly said, dreams are not what you see when you are asleep. Dreams are what makes you to stay awake and to work. Isn't that amazing? Dreams are what makes you to stay awake and to work. So it reminds me of this fairy tale you would have heard about Alice in Wonderland. Alice was a beautiful girl. She saw a wild dream. In that dream, she was playing with some funny creatures, isn't it? So she was talking to them, they were talking to her. Don't ask me what language, some language where both could understand. So one such creature, Cheshire cat, came from a branch of a tree and approached Alice and asked, Alice, where do you want to go? Alice says, I don't know. And the cat says, go in any road. Any road will lead you to the place called I don't know. Is that happening in our lives? If we don't know where we are heading, we will end up nowhere. I'm sad, but I'm inspired by your beautiful country because I come from a country, even we have plenty of natural beauty. Even CNN repeatedly rated us as one of the top tourist destinations, Sri Lanka. And then we have brilliant brains. Some are working in Maldives. They are all over the world. So we have best of beauty, best of brains, but we have few blunt politicians. They are ruining the entire thing. So I'm sad, but I'm determined. We have hit the rock bottom. So the only way positive is up and up and up. So we are determined we can bounce back. We can bounce back. Thank you. Thank you for the empathy. Okay. So we need to have vision, understanding, confidence, and agility. So this is the new normal. It should not be abnormal. It should be the new normal. So these are quite normal. The new children, they might think face is something that has to be sacredly covered. But I'm glad that all of us are now have removed the face mask. I'm still having it in my pocket, but we have taken the calculated risk. I think we have the herd immunity. That's something wonderful. So the reality, what we see around us, is all about change, change, and more change. As Buddha said long time ago, only permanent thing in the whole world is change. Everything is changing. Even the rate of change has accelerated. Agree with me? Yes. Everything has changed. Even every time I come to Maldives, first visit to second visit, third, I see continuous improvement. Amazingly developed. Wow. I think you all deserve a good hand. In such a case, we need to talk about leadership in the new perspective, in the new normal. They say the only ship that survives a storm is leadership. Only ship that survives a storm. So shall we talk about a ship? So what sort of ship you see here? It's a wooden ship. So what is the main raw material? Timber, wood. From where do you get wood? Trees. From where do you get trees? Forest. So interestingly, there's a nice statement. If you want to build a ship, don't drum up the men to go to the forest to gather wood, saw it, and nail the planks together. You might wonder then, how on earth can you build the ship? Instead, teach them the desire for the sea. So said, Antoine de Saint-Exupéry, a French writer and a World War II pilot. So if you carefully look at this statement, there are two approaches towards people. Tell me, what is approach 1 and what is approach 2? Approach 1? Telling people, do this, do that, then do that, they will do that and only that, nothing but that. In the second approach, you don't tell, but you inspire. You create the dream. You create the desire. Then they will say, wow, let's go to the forest. Let's do the needful. Let's build our own ship. And they will go extra mile, isn't it? They will go extra mile. That is what is needed. So what is leadership? First approach and the second approach? No brainer. It's all about first approach, isn't it? I thought you would say yes to everything I say. Second approach, it's all about inspiring. So let me add 2 more words. It's all about inspiring, influencing, and initiating. You inspire from the words you utter. You influence from the deeds that you do, and you initiate from the seeds that you sow. Inspire from the words, influence from the deeds, and initiate from the seeds. Agree with me? Ask from you, am I doing it enough? A soul search. Am I doing it enough? A pulse check. 10 seconds. Am I doing it enough? If not, it's an opportunity for improvement. How many of you all think you can improve on these triple I's? How many? All right. Some are having halfway hand. It's like half improvement. Thank you. Thank you very much. Give a big hand to everyone. Big round of applause. Me as a leader. So I think yesterday and today was an invitation to have an inward-bound journey, to discover the leader within you. We have a myth in the world. So what is the myth? We think leaders are at the top, we are at the, leaders are at the top, we are at the top. Leaders are at the top, we are at the top. No, it's a mindset more than anything else. Mindset followed by a skill set, and of course then the use of tool set. Starting with the mindset. Remember the golden idea of leadership. It's more to do with decisions and actions than to do with positions and titles. So let me repeat. Shall we all say out loud? It's more to do with decisions and actions than to do with positions and titles. So we need to have that soul-searching, inward-bound. Sometimes we go on outward-bound sessions, isn't it? Outward-bound training, and we go to a jungle and we do some activities and behave like animals, and we come back to office and still behave like animals. For me, that's outward bound. So the invitation is inward bound. Have that inward journey. Learn from within. Intuition. Going inward for tuition. Learning from yourself. Intuition. Are you interested in doing that? Are you excited in doing that? That's not exciting, yes. Half-hearted. Are you interested? Yes. Thank you. I trust you. Good. So the hallmarks of leadership in combating COVID-19. Forbes magazine gave a very precise way of putting it. 3 H's. Holistic, humble, and humane. You got to be holistic, not looking at a cylindrical point of view, have a conical point of view, a broader perspective. And humble, I think all the speakers mentioned that. You have to be down to earth and not going on others' shoulders, perhaps carrying others on your shoulders. And humane. At the end of the day, you are a human being, not a human doing or a human undoing, isn't it? I really like when he mentioned technology should make you a better human. That's what is needed. At the end of the day, we are all humans, isn't it? It's the human spirit that is around this room, the vibrancy of human spirit, irrespective of caste, creed, and from where we come. It's all about humanity. So we got to have triple H's. I use this kindergarten technique for my postgraduate teaching, inviting people to say things out loud. So can I invite you to say triple H's? Shall you say out loud? Holistic, humble, humane. Thank you. Ask the question, am I there? Am I having these three H's? If not, start cultivating. So remember, triple spears of post-pandemic leaders. I'm happy to present the way I conceptualize servant, synergist, and strategist. This goes very well with an old model by Aristotle, ethos, pathos, and logos. How you connect with people passionately serving others. A true leader should be a true servant. There's no meaning of leadership if you are not a servant. You are there to serve others. It's an opportunity to serve others. When I was the director of the largest business school in Sri Lanka for 7 years, I mentioned on day one, I'm here to serve you, and I need your support. Let's collectively serve the deserving humanity. That's what it is. And then synergist. You are a team builder. You are a synchronized energizer. Synergy in action. You are not just an individual superstar. You create a galaxy of superstars. Isn't that more important? Rather than you becoming an individual isolated superstar. Galaxy of superstars. Synergist. And strategist. Strategist. You are looking at the future. You have a plan for the future. Like Elon Musk is doing with the SpaceX and Tesla. Like Sir Richard Branson. Proudly saying staff first, customers second, shareholders third. It's all about being a people-oriented strategist. So let me give you 3 global examples from history. My favorite servant leader is Saint Mother Teresa of Kolkata. Coming from Yugoslavia, leaving all the richnesses and working for the deserted street children, working for the sick and needy, she gave the example of a real servant leader. We are here to serve one another. The moment we stop serving, we don't have a reason to be a leader. And then, my example for lead as a synergist. If you watch this movie, how many of you have watched this movie? Invictus, amazing, isn't it? The way Nelson Mandela shifted the rugby-hating black community to rugby-favoring black community. So let me resume in the presence of your Vice President. I am indeed honored, sir, in the presence of you, to continue my thought sharing on leadership. So Nelson Mandela could be a beautiful example of lead as a synergist, rallying people around a common cause and making people a vision community. I was so fortunate to go to the Robben Island, a 20 minutes ferry journey from Cape Town, where he was imprisoned for 27 years. So I still remember his prison cell, 46664. So the moment he was released, he started forgiving his enemies, the people who tortured him. And he said, reconciliation begins now, birth of a rainbow nation. And third one, of course, we know how Gandhi had a clear strategy through non-violence, ahimsa, in gaining independence. And that inspired all of us to have non-violent way of reacting, responding, and showing your dissent. So those are the 3 examples that I picked to demonstrate leader as a servant, lead as a strategist, and lead as a synergist. 30-second reflection. Think about you. Am I a servant leader enough? Am I synergist leader enough? Am I strategist leader enough? Is there a way to strengthen one of the 3 S's? Is there something for me to take away? I need to reinforce my lead as a servant aspect. I need to reinforce my lead as a synergist aspect. I want to reinforce my lead as a strategist aspect. Can you pick one out of the 3? How many of you want to improve on servant? Lead as a servant? Oh, good. Few hands. How many of you want to improve on synergist? How many of you want to improve on strategist? And I heard someone want to improve all 3. Remember, all 3 are equally important. So this is what is needed. So leading and learning are inseparable to one another. I must confess, I'm a lifelong learner. We all learn from womb to the tomb, isn't it? Every day is an opportunity to learn. So we have a nice acronym, ATWORD, anytime, anywhere, any device. We learn all over. We learn every day. So I'm learning from you today. So let's learn together as aspiring leaders. Are you willing to learn together? Yes. So I'm giving you a challenge. Let's learn how to count in Japanese from 1 to 10. But I need your support. Are you ready? Yes. Are you ready? Yes. Then stand up, stand up, stand up. For the benefit of everyone seeing me, can you permit me to get on to this chair? Okay. Okay, so when you get onto the chair, you see a different perspective. It's a different level, different angle, different perspective. Okay, I need some support by using some English words, some certain English word that we know, all right? You take your left hand and you try to scratch your right knee, and itching is scratching. Right? Say, scratch your right knee and say, itchy knee. Itchy is 1 and knee is 2. Shall we do it once again? Itchy knee. Itchy is 1 and knee is 2. And then your son is coming running like what we see Kenneth's son, a nice beautiful face. So your son is coming running and you look at your son and say, son. Come on, some are looking at me, I'm not your son. and some are keeping the hand in the pocket, that might be your future son, I don't know. So it can be your legal son, illegal son, any son. Okay. So shall we count from 1 to 3? Itchy knee, son. And there's a beautiful actress coming with an invitation. Can be Julia Roberts, Preeti Zinta, or Newma. Coming with a beautiful invitation, inviting you to go for a dance. And then she is coming, inviting you for a peculiar dance. That's a Rocco dance. So this is how it goes. She. Go. Rocco. Shall we say, she is 4, go is 5, Rocco is 6. Shall we count from 1 to 6 now? Itchy knee, son, she, girl, Rocco. And you went and danced and danced and danced. You were so tired. And it was rather midnight and you were having a fluid nose. And you were having a sneeze. That's a Japanese sneeze, sichi. So sichi is 7. Shall we count from 1 to 7? Itchy knee, son, she, girl, Rocco, sichi. And when you were sneezing, someone was sympathetic. Someone near to you was wearing a Mexican sombrero, a big hat. And the person took the hat and gave it to you to wear it to cover your head. And out of courtesy, you wear the hat and touch the hat where you are wearing the hat, touch the hat. And you take the hat and say, Hachi. Hachi is 8. Shall we count from 1 to 8? Son, she, girl, Rocco, sishi. And you were so tired, you went home, you are very thirsty. You straight away went to the refrigerator, opened and took a glass full of orange juice. Hold the glass in your hand, orange, and you take a sip and say, Jew. Jew is? Oh, sorry, I made a mistake. See, I made a mistake. So when you were waving the hat, there was a tiny little bird in a nice, in a branch there. So take the hand like a bird. And the bird is about to fly out of fear. Say, Q. Q is 9. And Ju is 10. Shall we count from 1 to 10? Itchy knee, son, she, girl, Rocco, sishi, hatch, Q, Ju. Now the real test. Are we really learners as leaders? I'm not going to tell, but I will do. You have to tell and do both. The acid test of quick learning. See how rapidly you have learned. Are you ready? Yes. Start. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Give a big hand to everyone. Fantastic. Okay. Thank you very much. So let me wind up by having 2 more slides. Final 2 more slides. I have 30 seconds to go. You need to have the, sorry, I can wear my shoes. You need to have the peak performance pyramid. You need to go through physical fitness. You got to be fit. You got to have mental sharpness. That is where the post-pandemic world needs. And you need to have emotional stability. I think we had a wonderful presentation on it. And you need to have spiritual toughness. So physical, mental, emotional, spiritual. Then you have a peak performance pyramid. Then you become a corporate athlete. You can demonstrate your vibrancy in action with physical, mental, emotional contribution to your workplace. Are you ready to do that? Yes. Are you really ready? Yes. Then can you all stand up with conviction? Okay. So the golden gate is being positive. I would say quest positive but test negative. We are going through COVID. Quest positive, but it always seems impossible until it's done. So put a space, impossible. I am possible. Say out loud, I am possible. So remember what Leroy Ames said. Shall you all say out loud? Leader is one who sees more than others see, who sees further than others see, who sees before others see. That's what is required, ladies and gentlemen, in the post-pandemic world. I hope this is not the way you do that. And at the end, it's not the years in your life that counts, the life in your years. Life in your years. Keep that in mind. It's not the years in your life, life in your years. And remember my motto, those who serve, deserve leadership. So remember, it's an invitation to reflect, refresh, and relate. Just close your eyes for 30 seconds. Close your eyes. Take a deep breath. Breathe in, retain, and breathe out. So closing the eyes is opposite to opening and frowning at me. Take a deep breath and pick one idea, a key takeaway, an insightful decision that you are going to enact, implement. So it's an invitation to reflect, refresh, and relate. So what we learn today should have MMR. What is MMR? Not Mahinda Rajapaksa and Ranil in Sri Lanka. Monday morning relevance. So what we learn today should be relevant on Monday morning when you go to work tomorrow, isn't it? So with that, let me wish you good luck. I'm not closing, I'm opening. New way of looking at leadership. A new way of looking at how we need to be leaders in the post-pandemic world. So in that journey, let me wish you good luck, bon voyage, happy journey. You can connect me with my website. There's plenty of videos, 500 plus articles. And you can email me and you can connect me with LinkedIn. You can be the luckiest 12,000th member. I'm almost closing 12,000, so you can be the lucky member of 12,000. So join me. And to sum up the celebrating the vibrancy. Say, remember, we were there from yesterday morning, isn't it? But energy is amazing. So shall we put our hands together in a way the planet Earth has never heard before? Thundering round of applause to everyone here. A thundering round of applause. Louder. Even louder. Even louder. That's all the news I have got for you today. Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you for teaching us Japanese. So shall we all say thank you to him in Divehi? Shukriya. Yes.